and welcome to an exclusive video interview with Sambhav Jain, Chief Executive Officer at Intract. An IIT Delhi graduate, Mr. Sambhav came up with the idea of Intract after witnessing complexities and pitfalls of the Web3 space. In this interview, let us know more about the journey of Intract and Mr. Sambhav. So, Mr. Sambhav, what inspired you to start this company and what has been your biggest challenges?
Sure. So I think the story dates back a few years. Start there because university is actually where I met my co-founders for the first time, Abhishek and Apurv. So we were all batchmates together. Before we were business partners, we were actually friends. Abhishek is actually a tech wizard and Apurv has experience building communities. It's important because right after college, even though we took slightly divergent paths, they went on to start their first company. But I actually worked as an investor at the world's largest private equity firm called Blackstone, where we manage more than $1 trillion worth of assets. And there I got to work with so many talented entrepreneurs, so many amazing companies, especially one that I got to see grow from a very small team to almost 40,000 employees. And then I worked with the team to help them get listed, do an IPO on NASDAQ in New York for a market cap of $10 billion. So I think on that particular day, right, like for the first time in my journey after university, I thought to myself that this has been an incredibly rewarding experience. But the next IPO I should work on should not just be for someone else, but also for my own company. And I think that's when for the first time that at least thought got planted in my head. And then right after that, because I had known Abhishek Kapoor for a while, and because I had experience in Web3, in crypto, in decentralized finance, because of my financial background, we all kind of got together and started hacking something together. Very quickly though, right after we started building together, we realized that even after that, there were complexities, as you mentioned, and pitfalls of this space that almost everyone in the industry has to come to terms with. We ourselves had to navigate even today, the terminology is so complex for a new user. The user experience is broken. I have personally gotten scammed a couple of times because how difficult it is to navigate this space. And so the solution we ended up building was an answer to these challenges themselves, which is how can we make the exploration of this space so easy that any user can come and discover new communities to participate in, new narratives they can try out, new things they can learn about of Web3, and all with the underlying ethos that they will also get to earn from their activity and the interactions they have. So interactions, that's why we call it Intract. And that's kind of how this complete journey began in the first place.
Wow, great. That was an amazing story. So Sambhav, can you tell our readers what is your leadership philosophy and how do you ensure that it reflects throughout your organization?
Now that's a great question. What I take a lot of pride in as a leader is that every day I come into the office, I should be the dumbest person working in the company, which means that everyone else in the team, that in this incredible team that we've been able to put together, should be a 10 on 10 in terms of what they do. Every person who comes in should be the very best. They should be driven, they should be passionate, they should take full ownership, and they should be able to exceed all expectations in terms of the work that they do. Which means that when I come into the office every day, I should feel like I have so much to learn from them in terms of how they are delivering their work. So I think my leadership philosophy is that like hire the best of the best people. And I think we've been able to do that very successfully, which is actually a big, if not the biggest reason behind the success of the company in such a short frame of time, that we've managed to hire and bring on board such people who take full ownership, who know how to get shit done, who can ship really fast, who can figure out solutions in the face of uncertainty, and who are transparent, right? Who don't succumb to any pressure, but who actually speak the truth, and can take the courage to actually do the right thing even when it's not so easy to do so. So I think that has been incredibly helpful for how we have shaped up the team and how that has delivered results for our company.
Great. This was perhaps one of the most unique answers that we've had. It was great. So my next question for you is, what are the products and services that a company specializes in?
Absolutely. So the biggest challenge that we actually solve for in Web3, it's a dual-sided problem that we solve, both for companies as well as users. So both B2B as well as B2C. So unlike the normal internet where you can go and just advertise on a Google or a Meta in order to get new users for any online product, there exists no such solution in the Web3 space, where there are tens of thousands of new companies coming up every day, new technologies getting built, but they don't have any way of getting new users to associate with their product. What we have solved is to take the unique ethos of Web3 and channel that into a solution which helps companies acquire new users in Web3, but also for users to be able to discover new communities they can participate in Web3, which is very equivalent to how you go and search for information on the internet. If there was no Google, how would you even go and search for stuff? Or how would you, if there was no Google Chrome browser, how would you go to a website? So that level of bringing that level of experience and accessibility to users is also something we solve for the users, and that also solves for companies as to how they can get new users. What we do, how we kind of achieve this, is in the form of these gamified learning campaigns that we call quests. What quests do is that these are created by companies where they allocate and assign special tasks. Now, these tasks could be, let's say, learning more about the company. Come and try out our product for the first time, or like buy from us once. If you buy it again, then you get more points. If you refer your friends to come and buy it, you get more points, even more points. You can even come and engage with our socials. You can create content about us. And if that goes viral, you get more points. So it's essentially a gamified way in which they're giving points to their users for becoming their early adopters, becoming loyal customers, becoming their influencers, so on and so forth. And eventually what happens is that these points, when accumulated and when they cross a threshold, users also become eligible to earn monetary or non-monetary rewards. They can sometimes earn tokens, they can earn hard-earned cash, they can earn other digital collectibles that gives them a unique kind of bragging right within the community of that, let's say, project. And so users have incentives to kind of do this, as well as companies are able to use this in order to be able to acquire and retain their community of users. And so that platform that kind of works in the middle, which can be accessed by both the companies as well as the users, that is what our service kind of offers. And the amazing thing about this is the network effect. I call it the snowball effect, because the longer a snowball keeps rolling, the bigger and bigger it becomes. So the more companies we have, the more users come to our platform to participate in their community, to interact with those companies. And the more users we have, the more companies want to come to our platform as well, because they know that's our user base. And this cycle just keeps going on and becomes bigger and bigger. So it's a very large network distribution effect that can't be broken so easily. And that's what we're building. So we imagine that, just how Google kind of built this network effect in the early days of the internet. And even today, it commands a 90% share of online search. Very similarly, we envision that Intract is going to be the Google of Web3 in the future with that network effect.
Great. Excellent. So can you tell us how do you decide to take the company a step further in terms of these products and services that you've just laid out?
Absolutely. I think what we kind of hope to achieve with Intract in the coming few months or years is to, how do we take this concept that we have already taken out to millions of users, but to take that to not just a million, but the next billion users now that can come and participate on Intract. And for that, we primarily see two levers. The first is Right now, a lot of our platform is used by folks who are already advanced natives of Web3. What we want to do is make it so simple that not just advanced, but even newbies or beginners who are kind of getting introduced to this space for the very first time can come and navigate their entire Web3 journey with Intract. So that's what we aim to do for users, make it so simple that Intract is the home of everything from the very first step that they take to everything that they do in Web3. And at the same time, for companies, how can we go beyond solving just the issues that we solve right now of acquiring new users, but solving other issues as well that come, be it managing their communities, be it around managing their tokens, be it managing support to their community, in all of those problems that we wish to solve for companies as well, so that they have more than just one reason to come to Intract, and their stickiness on our platform actually increases, and the value we can create for the companies also goes beyond just what we're solving for right now. And so in a way, we wish to become the kind of connector between all the companies that will exist on the internet, as well as all the users that will be there on the internet, and solving all the touch points that they have in between them through the Intract platform one day.
Great. That was a great answer, Sambhav. So lastly, is there any piece of advice that you would like to give to the new leaders?
Absolutely. I would say that it's not easy, this journey of being a founder. From the outside, it perhaps looks very glorious, right? And we tend to look at the good days and think that these good days look so great, and that's why I want to be an entrepreneur. But the truth is that those good days are just 1 out of 10. 9 days out of the 10 as an entrepreneur means that you have to go through pain. You have to struggle. You have to deal with uncertainty. You have to deal with failure. Often before we kind of come to success, it takes 9 attempts at failure before we can finally come to that particular thing that works, which means that you have to kind of motivate yourself, and you have to be driven enough to keep at it and not lose hope. It's not, you have to take decisions not knowing whether that decision will be right. In fact, even today, no matter what decisions we have taken, we will never know in hindsight whether those decisions were right or not. We just kind of hope for the best. And you have to give it your all. It almost becomes your life. And so if you're not ready for that level of commitment, I would say that, don't just be influenced by the good things. But I'll be honest, like, despite all the hardships, it's the best thing that, if you decide to do it, if someone decides to do it, if you're sure that this is the thing for you, there will be nothing else that you will love more in your life than going through all of this. Because believe it or not, like, even when everything works out, it's actually those tough days that one cherishes and looks back at, and remembers that those were the days that we really became the peak of what we could have been. So I think, yeah, that's my one advice that I would give. Of course, that's very bleak advice. Not all things are so grim. There are a lot of good days. There are a lot of moments that everyone feels happy about. We've had a fair share of those days at Intract as well. And I think looking at this team, looking at their excitement, their passion with which they approach things and are building things and have made our dreams come reality, that actually gives me the energy every day to keep going at it.
Great. That was a great piece of advice. And I'm sure a lot of new entrepreneurs will be inspired through your journey. So, yeah, that was all from my side. And thank you so much for your time, Sambhav. And it was great talking to you.
Thank you, Anubhav, for your time as well. And I'm glad that we had this conversation.
It's our pleasure.